Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Young Broke Musicians podcast with your host, Connor Wells.
And Roxy Sell.
How are you doing, lovely?
I'm doing really well, thank you. I'm really excited about our guests that we've got coming on.
We've got an awesome guest.
We really have.
We do.
Yeah.
We'll give a little bit of backstory to how we discovered this awesome company. So it feels like a million years ago now,
It really
doesn't
does.
it?
It was this year.
That's scary that it was this year. So back in February, we went to VidCon London, didn't we?
We did indeed.
We went to VidCon London at the Excel. Amazing time. It was our first sort of YouTube event.
It was.
It was really, really cool, wasn't it?
It was my proper first sort of video event as well, because I just kind of got into videography and photography.
You have.
And yeah, I was really excited about going.
It was good fun. It was good fun. It was a long weekend, very long weekend.
It was.
And we, for like the 3 days we were there, we decided to pester
a certain company.
this lovely man called David. David, who is the head of marketing of this company.
Indeed.
And they had this big. It was basically like Diana Ross made out of vinyl records.
It was, yes. It looked really cool.
And they were doing a competition to basically name their.
Yes.
It was sort of like their, what's it called, mascot.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of their mascot.
But it was really cool because the prize was like a jacket and
we got a jacket
kind of stuff,
and a bottle.
I was so excited.
I've got it with me actually. It's still in my camera bag.
Yeah.
And I remembered the name, Tina Turntable.
Tina Turntable.
So that's what we won. We decided to name it that.
Yeah.
And that company, a company called Licked, and we are joined by their lovely CEO and founder, Paul Sampson. How are you doing, Paul?
Hi.
I'm very well, guys. I'm glad to be here and meet you both.
Thank you so much. Just going to say, I love the hoodie. We've got the jackets, haven't we?
We have indeed.
And the bottles and the little
pouches.
Little pouches, yeah. So love all the merchandise from Licked.
I'm pleased to hear it. In lockdown, the hoodie's become incredibly useful because you can wear what you want at home, and
exactly.
If you've got a meeting. It looks like you're on brand, but you're really just lounging.
They're just so easy to chill in, aren't they?
Yeah, I love it.
I've got my jacket with me.
Yeah.
So it's nice and cool.
Yeah.
So how's lockdown treated you, Paul?
It's been a testing time. I think that's true for everyone. From a personal perspective, it's been tricky. I've lost a couple of family members really early on, which was hard. From a business perspective, there's been some really good positives that the business has been able to draw from it.
Yeah. But
I think the challenges that it brings. I mean, we were in the middle of a funding round.
Okay.
And 33% of the round was due to be supplied by new investors, and new investing was culled en masse once the lockdown hit. All sort of venture capitalists or angels said that they were all just looking after their existing portfolio because they would need funding in that period. And so we ended up having to scrap all our plans and sort of raise a much smaller amount of money just to get us through, say, a year until the market's back where we needed it to be. I say that, but we've still grown. Like that was still, we were supposed to hire 15 more people this year, and we cut that down to 4 or 5. So we've still grown. I mean, from a contracts perspective, obviously we're trying to sign as many labels and publishers as possible.
Definitely.
There were lots of deals that have been at contract stage for a long time. And because we're a new business model, there were, perhaps higher priority contracts to get signed from the label's perspective until COVID hit. I mean, most of the music industry earns its money from live.
Yeah.
And when all of those contracts no longer exist or don't arrive on a lawyer's tables, ours went up the priority order because everyone's looking for ways to try and enable themselves to earn money digitally. And we are an online business. So we closed. I won't say that they all happened because of COVID, but I think they definitely got closed sooner because of COVID. So there were a couple of really big deals. Warner was one of them that signed during lockdown.
Wow.
Universal Publishing. We'd already signed Universal as a label, but the publishing arm signed with us. And Cobalt, the 5th biggest publisher in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, there were lots of things that we were hoping to get done that actually closed in that period. So it's been challenging. You know, we had to, I think, 35 different financial plans in the first 6 weeks, and then landed on one that worked. So we got there in the end.
That's amazing. Good. Did you want to tell our audience and our listeners a little bit about your business and what you do and all the benefits of it?
Yeah, how it supports creators in a time where creators are just sort of blooming at the moment.
Because most of our listeners are creators, and definitely I'm assuming that quite a lot of them would be interested in Licked.
Okay, so Licked is the world's first commercial music. Sorry, I'll start that again. We are the world's first claims-free commercial music licensing platform for video creators. So what that is that YouTube, or the use of chart music on YouTube in a video, generates what's called a copyright claim. A copyright claim is the presumption by software that you don't have the rights to use that song. The software can relatively accurately presume that because there is nowhere to get the rights for that song. Right? If you think about all the publishing and all the labels, there's no one platform where it's you have the ability to get that license. So, we provide that. If you think about Licked, our end goal is to sort of be a shorthand we use is to be Spotify for creators. Right? I want all the world's music available at your fingertips.
Yeah.
To license in a click or two into your videos. But also, the copyright claim that we help creators avoid through the use of the software that we built essentially stops them from losing all of their earnings when they use commercial music in a video. So right now, if you earn money from YouTube and you put a chart song in your video, you will get a copyright claim. That claim means that any money generated by that video does not come to you, the video creator. It goes to the music industry because they presume it's an unlicensed use.
Yeah.
The software we built called Vouch essentially informs YouTube software. Hang on a minute, this song is available on Licked. That means it might have been legally licensed. So before you go ahead and put the handcuffs on this video, check with our software to see if it's a legally licensed song. And if that channel is one of our users. And if the answer is yes to both of those, then we pay the music industry out of the license fee. The video creator does not suffer a copyright claim. They earn their money as planned, and everyone wins.
That's amazing. Awesome. So is it a subscription thing to you? To Licked?
Unfortunately not at this point. I think down the line it might well become a subscription service. The music industry has very testy relationship with YouTube. Historically, they've butted heads a lot.
Yeah.
Music doesn't feel like they earn enough out of YouTube for what they refer to as a stream. You might call a view, right? But if you're in the music side, a view is impacts on audio, right? So
yeah.
So moving to an a la carte sort of all-you-can-eat service, I wouldn't have got the deals over the line. We've had to come up with a sort of clever way of working out the financial models that we hope work for everyone. But no, it's an a la carte licensing model. So you come to the platform, you pick a song and you pay for the use of that song in your video, and your prices are determined largely by the size of your audience. Right? The smaller the channel, the smaller the fee.
Yeah.
And all the songs on the platform the same price to you. But that price might be different from another channel because if they're larger, they earn more or they'll pay more. So it works out about 10% of your estimated earnings from your next video.
Okay.
And we analyze like your last 50 videos. That all happens through software. It's not a sort of manual thing. So you log in, and in that process, we analyze your channel and go, oh, you're this size, you get this many views, you earn about X, and 10% of X is Y. Your price today is Y. Okay. And if you grow, and you might be migrated through price bands as you get larger.
That's awesome. See,
the bottom starts about £6, and it ends up at £250 depending on the size of the channel.
Okay.
Wow.
See, I'm a creator who sort of uploads sort of two or three times a week, and my content is mainly music based. So I'll do like track reviews and and my videos heavily rely on the music. I think music can definitely sort of make or break your video. Like if you choose the wrong music, it can completely set the wrong or right tone for what you're trying to deliver in your thing. And I float between two services of like Epidemic Sound and Licked, and it's just, yeah, it's nice to know that if I wanted to use a song by, say, someone like one of my favourite singers is Sam Fender, so if I wanted to use a Sam Fender song in my video, it's actually really, really awesome. Not say if I've got like a B-roll segment and want to put a Sam Fender or a Noel Gallagher or a Mabel track over that's actually pretty cool. Yeah. And I can still my channel's monetized, so I can still earn, you know, that AdSense, still get the CPM without a copyright claim, or with that share sort of thing that YouTube's demonetization sort of program is very, very strict and known to sort of not help creators very, very well from a revenue perspective. So it's really, really handy.
Yeah, well, I'm pleased to hear that. Right, you listed obviously lots of tracks just on our homepage. So that's good to hear. But you know, I hear you on the Epidemic Sounds thing, right? Like they've done a really good job of providing creators a solution.
Yeah.
In the interim, right? And I mean, there's two things to say about that. One is all the companies that creators work with currently for music are a solution, right? What I want to build, or what we are building, is the solution. Right, you wouldn't need music that sounds like commercial music if you could use commercial music.
Exactly,
right? Yeah. So I think that's how, when I explain it to my team and when we're motivating new starters, that's what I'm saying to them, is like there are solutions out there, but they're workarounds because we didn't exist.
Yeah.
Now that is true to some extent. Where I think that argument falls short is that I've worked in production music, and Epidemic is production music.
Yeah, definitely.
And what production music does really well that commercial music doesn't is things like comedy, fantasy, adventure, drones, underscore, toolkits, drum builds, right? You don't get that from a Mabel track, for instance. So, and when I worked in production music, I licensed production music into some of the world's biggest films and TV shows and trailers because they need that stuff. They want it at an affordable, predictable price so they know what budget they've got left to license the hits.
Yeah.
And so the two sit as very happy bedfellows. I don't ever really see it as an either or. I think people need both. So I've got an incredible amount of respect for what Epidemic Sounds have done. I don't like it when people slag off production music, but the thing that I wanted to solve was having licensed music all over the world into all sorts of productions for 15 years. It's a nonsense that the only sector that hasn't got access to both forms of music solutions is the YouTube creator sector. And it's the biggest burgeoning growth production sector in the world. And I thought, okay, well, I'll go and solve that.
That's brilliant. So is that where the inspiration came from it? What gave you the inspiration to actually pursue it? Because sometimes you get an idea in your head and you think, do you know what? It'd be really great if I could do this. But where does that line cross for you where you're like, okay, well, I'd like to do this, and then you end up doing it? Like, where did that drive do it for you? Where was it?
So I've always had a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit, right?
Nice.
And I probably lacked the confidence to go and do something myself. But I always worked with bosses, particularly female bosses, actually, I must say that were very nurturing, and I dovetailed very well with them. And I thought, listen, I'm going to be the best number two you can have. And they were like, you're amazing. You're brilliant. And I was like, but I like your leadership. And you know, but these two women in particular kept saying to me, you know, you should go and do something. Like you're too good. Like, and I was like, no, let's work together. So they were encouraging me to go out and do something for myself. And perhaps without that, them ringing in my ears, I might not have done this. But in terms of the inspiration, I was looking at ways to disrupt sync licensing. Right, I've been putting music to picture for 15 years.
Yeah,
and it's so painful. Like licensing commercial music it's expensive, it's convoluted, it's complicated, it's fractured.
Yeah.
And I just thought there's got to be a better way. There must be a better way. Now, I don't think it's ever really going to change in traditional media. But if in thinking, well, how would you disrupt this? How would you make it better? What would it look like? And then you come up with a pre-cleared solution would be amazing. That's the first stop. That's not revolutionary. But then you look at where the opportunity is to make it easier. And if you think about what's happened in the last 10 years, everywhere that I've licensed music into, film, TV, advertising, they're all underpinned by production companies.
Yeah.
And now 2.8 billion people have got a production company in their pocket.
Yes.
And you think, and by the way, the world's most generous commissioning editors in YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and Vimeo, right? You don't have to convince the head of Factual to give you £500,000 to shoot your series. You can just shoot it and publish it, right?
Exactly.
So when I analysed that, I was like, actually, the only production resource that hasn't democratized along with all the others is music. I can shoot, I can publish, I can edit, I can broadcast. I can't use music. And so I thought, actually, if you were going to revolutionize, if you were going to disrupt sync licensing in a modern way, then you should look at the modern market, right? And go, actually, let's make it happen there first. And so that's when I started looking at YouTube. And that's when I learned about Content ID and copyright claims. And I was like, oh, this is going to be hard. And I thought if this was possible, someone would have done it, right?
Yeah.
If you could interact with Content ID and solve that problem. I looked around, I couldn't find anyone that had even tried. That all the solutions were just, well, that's not possible, come and use production music.
Yeah.
And so a friend of mine was a developer, and I told him about this, and I said, listen, if it can be done, and I refuse to accept that it can't, we'd have something really powerful to go to the music industry with.
Definitely.
So we took all the YouTube exams, right? There are certifications you can take for to learn their back end and become expert, their API and their
people like
CMS.
Daryl Eves and Think Media who are like YouTube certified, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you take all those tests and you learn all of that, you're essentially in the inner workings of YouTube, and you go, oh, I see how Content ID works. It takes that bit of data and it connects it to that bit of data and it makes these calls, and that's why it's doing this. Well, hang on a minute. You could get in here and tell it to do that. Then you could solve this. And once you realize you've solved it, you look at each other and you go, oh my God, are we doing this? Are we going to quit our jobs, try and raise money, and go and build something that everyone said would never happen? And everyone told us we were nuts. Like, I'll be honest.
Amazing achievement though when you did, and sort of like we're doing this now. You know, we're the only company in the world actually doing this now. That must have been a really, really like good feeling.
Well, yes, it is, but only once you've actually achieved some of it, right? Because go out with all the intention in the world, and people laughed at us. They literally laughed. Oh, good luck, mate. That's definitely not going to happen. Yeah. Right. You're not going to get the major labels to pre-clear their content. You're not going to get them to micro-license it without approvals, right? It's just not how they work. This is a fool's errand. Even the guy who gave us our first cash, who believed in us the most, said, please stop talking to the majors. You're just wasting your time. Yeah. And you proved them wrong. What do you want to say to them now? Well, listen, I'm going to be nice because he's still my business partner. So, but I remember I said to him, listen, we are going to get them, and I know how we're going to get them. And I know what the arguments are, and they're compelling. You can't ignore it. But I understood something that no one else did, which was there is a department at every label, and particularly the bigger labels, that has a problem on YouTube, whereas the rest of the business has a problem with YouTube. Yeah. So if you can find the department that has the problem on YouTube, and that's the marketing team, and you provide them or sell them in something like, if I had data on all the world's influencers and I could tell you what music they used and how old their audience was, is that something you'd find useful? And they went to me, how quickly can you build it? And so 6 months after that guy gave me the money, one of the biggest labels in the world said to us, "How much do you want to buy the concept?" We hadn't even built. We had a test website.
Wow.
So, but this is how difficult it is still to get it done, because they never made us an offer. Right? We said this is the wrong way to go. Right? I want all the major labels involved. We don't just want one.
Right.
And they said, "Okay, fine. Let's just get a deal approved with you." It still took 3 years from that day. So that deal took 3.5 years. We've now got 2 major labels signed, and I spoke to both of them for the first time just over 3.5 years ago, and they signed.
So when did you actually start the process of so how long has it been since you came up with the idea to you approached the labels and then you got the sign? I know you said that you approached the labels and you got them signed in about 3-year period, but can I just say that's an
incredible achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, that's incredible amount of patience and determination, because if someone had like said no to me, I would have been like, do you know what, whatever, okay, bye, and I would have just been like, okay, whatever. But that's amazing amount of like determination. That's passion. That's something that you can't buy. I like that.
I definitely have passion for it. That's true. To answer your question, this solution occurred to me, right? There's a piece of paper somewhere where I scribbled down all the features on day one, right?
Wow.
I was like, it's going to have socials. You'll log in through YouTube. We'll pick up your Facebook. You can link to Spotify. We'll learn what you're streaming, pitch your music.
That's brilliant, because that's one thing I love about Spotify.
Yeah, I mean, we had it live. We're taking it down. We're iterating it, and it'll go live again soon. But you'll notice when you search for music on the platform, you can search for rock, and then you can click a button and say, order these results by most streams on Spotify, right? Anyway, so that was end of 2015, I conceived of it. And then April 2016, I was out of work and started looking for the money. And I got money in November 2016. So 1st of November 2016 was the first day of business of the company being in existence. We built, technically, the software for 14 to 18 months.
Wow.
And then it's been live for about 2 years. But, on day one, it had 100 songs, right? And then we had 500 songs, and then it had 1,000 songs. Up until recently, we had 10,000 songs. In the last 5 months, we've uploaded 75,000 more.
Oh my God.
Hang on, 75,000 more?
Yeah, there's 85,000 tracks live on the platform.
That is incredible. That is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, someone like an Epidemic, because of their model, they have to commission the music. Someone has to produce it. They've got to own it, buy it out, and then put it out. Right? Yeah. We're licensing it, so they own 35,000 tracks. We put 35,000 up on Monday.
Wow.
Right. So we'll be at 150,000 live tracks by the end of the year.
That is amazing.
There's about 1.8 million due for delivery in 2021 and 6 million over the next 2 years. Under existing contracts, we hope to sign more contracts as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
That's impressive.
You mentioned passion at the beginning of that. So what I'm sure you're interested in, and our lovely audience would love to know where your passion for music really stemmed from. Like for us, you've obviously got your musical theatre past. We, up until recently, have been sort of regularly gigging, so that's our passion for music. But where did yours stem from?
I mean, it's hard to answer that really, because I think a passion for music is innate in about 99% of people, right?
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in a musical household. Right? I wasn't running around my house and they were playing The Doors, or I come from I'm a first generation Greek immigrant, right? If there was anything playing in my house, it was Greek bouzouki music.
Oh, Kalimera.
That was rare. If it wasn't that, it was my mother singing Doris Day, right? Once I had a secret love. So the musical influences were not strong. But I fell in love with music. I fell in love with Nirvana. I fell in love with Snoop. The first time I heard the Style album, I was 13 years old. It said explicit lyrics on it. I shut myself in my bedroom and I didn't come out until I learned every single word.
Love that.
And until you've seen a 13-year-old slightly podgy Greek boy wrapping in juice in his pajamas, you haven't seen anything. And so I think I have a passion for music, like most music fans, but I also have. I think I wanted to be in a band. I was out of one, and I think most people that end up in music licensing or in the music industry at all wanted to be a rock star, right? Or wanted to be in music. Like, it's the closest way you can be involved still.
Yeah.
There's so many memes like that. There's so many memes like that where you see like sound engineers who are like, oh yeah, I also play the drums and stuff. Like, they used to be in a band and stuff. So it's...
If you could play any instrument though, Paul, what would you play?
Oh, the guitar.
Nice.
100. Although I like, there's a drummer in me as well, but I'm not good at it. You can often find me screwing up the drum line to Wipeout on my chest. But
on your chest.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, but the other thing is, if you wanted to be a musician or in a band or anything like that, and you weren't good enough, but you still want to sort of live that lifestyle and have a career, then you work in the music industry. I don't want to put a suit on every day. I don't want to go to the city. I don't want to be in the rush hour at 6 a.m. And so you gravitate towards the music industry where you go, I get to earn a living. I can see a career path for myself, but I get to do really cool things.
I love that.
Right? I've been lucky enough, even in production music, to work with Snoop, Meet My Hero, and amazing. Quincy Jones, Massive Attack, and Hans Zimmer, and Exhibit, and people like that. And recently, John did a launch party for us. It's the closest I can get, right? And so, then you end up in the industry, then you work out what's wrong with it, and then you try and fix that. Yeah. And you end up with licks, I think.
That's so cool.
What is Hans Zimmer like? Because I've seen his like little masterclass thing that he's done, talking about how he scores films, and you know how he's worked with Johnny Marr from the Smiths, who is probably my main inspiration for learning guitar. What is he like? Because he is such an interesting person to, like, every person I've seen that have worked with him have all had like a different story, but he just sounds so interesting.
He is, and look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he and I have a deep personal relationship, right? But he used to, well, still does. He produces film score for a company called Extreme Music, and I was head of US for Extreme Music. It's a production music company, and when I became head of US and moved to LA, our offices were in his studios. So when they were trying to get me to take the job, I was visiting, and the CEO of Extreme said, "Do you want to come meet Hans?"
Wow.
And I was like, "Shut up."
Go on, man.
Shut your face. I love that. I love that.
And this was 2007. And he was like, "Yeah, come on." And he took me into this studio. I was like, "No, she's like, don't interrupt him."
Wow.
And he took me in, and he was like, "Hans, can I introduce you to someone? This guy's going to be our new head of US." I was like, "Sure, come in." And we went into his studio, and he was on his screen was Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley, and he was pushing the score to Pirates 2, I think, was 2 of them.
Oh my lord!
And he was like, "Do you want to hear it?" And we sat, and he just played us music in his studio, like with the most incredible sound system and the score he did.
His studio is incredible. I've seen like all the images of his all his like vintage and old synthesizers and all his like plug-in stuff. It's looks an incredible space.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And he's got, I mean, there's about 8 to 10 different studios on that lot.
Yeah.
But he was very, very lovely. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we became best friends.
But you became best friends. Talent, he just doesn't know it.
And a decent landlord, I guess.
We've got some questions from our listeners, haven't we? Yeah. A guy called Rob, who's a very good friend of the channel. He said, could you please ask Paul how this service complies with the new Facebook live streaming policy, and whether it would be a solution for our issues with streaming 30-second clips for our new online quizzes. So Rob does online quizzes And obviously with the new Facebook
From
regulations,
October the 1st,
yeah,
live streaming is being very much clamped down for, which is a shame because that's for, you know, unsigned musicians like us who are out of work and gigging. That clampdown isn't the best in our favour, is it?
Definitely not.
So I've heard rumours that people have had their live streams taken down. I saw a post the other day that someone actually had their Facebook page deleted for playing like 5 copyrighted cover songs. Yeah, not good. So how does Licked work with that?
It's a really good question. And the truth of the matter is, Facebook does not yet operate its own owned audio recognition software, right? Licked works with Content ID, which is YouTube's own audio recognition software.
Yeah.
Until Facebook releases its own, no one is able to work with the third-party platform, the third-party solution they're using.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So it's difficult to say. I don't think we are a solution for live streams on Facebook right now.
Okay.
There is music on the platform, for instance, right, where you could, if you did a search for rock, you could click the Facebook button and it would filter out any music where we don't have the Facebook rights. But on 90% of the catalogue, we do have rights for Facebook. But even in that instance, we can't automate the claims clearance process through software because they don't have their own audio recognition tool and a CMS for us to plug the software into. So in that instance, like we get our own videos blocked on Instagram when we promote a new artist. So if you see us introduce our Mabel's now live on Licked, before you saw it, it got blocked. But there's a dispute button. We dispute it. We paste in the license URL that says, hey, Paul bought this for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yeah.
And the video's up within 2 minutes, right? I don't think that helps with the live stream, though. What I would say is the third party they use, this is the best advice I can give, I think. The third party they're using is a company called Audible Magic, right? And it's a binary choice. It doesn't let you block, take down, monetize, or track like Content ID was. It's just block if it recognizes the music. But Audible Magic does not work with the smaller labels, right?
Okay.
75% of the world's music and revenue for music comes from 3 companies, right? So they work with Universal, Warner, Sony, probably BMG or AWOL, some of the big indies, right? But there's, and reputable indies. But if there's new and emerging music you like, there's every chance that Facebook's partner won't recognize it. So I would say test out some stuff, have some test sessions, live stream to your mum, and see if you get taken down before you live stream to an audience.
Okay.
But I would say watch this space. Like I've had 18 months worth of meetings with Facebook. They know what we're doing. They say they like it.
That's good.
And when they release their version of the software, then we hope to be active on it. That's all I can tell you for now, I'm afraid.
Okay.
No, I love the honesty. Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was thinking halfway through that, like, what would happen with PRS? What happens if you're? So I'm with PRS.
Same.
So if I do a gig, I have to submit my set list to PRS so that basically that the money goes to them if I'm doing live performances and stuff. I wonder if you put on your live stream, I am with PRS and these songs that I am doing will be noted with PRS. I wonder if that could be a way around it. That would be interesting to know. It won't. It
won't be. I mean, the presumption there is that someone's reading what you put and is going to check it, right? That
it's probably all automated.
It's all automated. There's a sort of AI or audio fingerprinting in place, right? Yeah. And just if you're playing a melody that creates a certain waveform that the fingerprinting recognizes is identical to the one in the system, it'll block it.
See, that's the good thing with YouTube, because when I post, like, I do like music reviews, and then I do occasionally like a vlog every week. I was filming something in a cafe. I think it was actually my VidCon thing. I think it was with Ben or something before you got there that day, and I was filming something just like a little 20-second talking headpiece, but YouTube had picked up through their processing thing that there was a copyrighted song playing. It instantly got demonetized. I did the manual review. Someone obviously from YouTube had actually manually watched it, noticed, this isn't intentional, you're not, the whole purpose isn't based around the video, and then it got monetized again. Whereas Facebook, it just seems very, very automated.
Cut and dry, isn't it?
It's
very black and white. It's like yes or no.
Well, so this is the point, right? If you dispute a claim in Content ID on YouTube, because the CMS, that notifies the rights holder. Someone's disputing your action, and they can go into the end and watch the video, review it, and change a policy.
Yeah.
If there's no CMS, and there isn't one for rights holders on Facebook, there's no point them offering you the dispute review, because no one can actually operate it.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen. Facebook was quite close, or hoped to have it out by just January this year. The Cambridge Analytica scandal last year, where they had to close their API, delayed them on all tech releases. And so now they're looking probably at halfway through next year before they get that done, and then things will get a bit easier, I think. But the problem that will then happen, guys, is that, well, two things. When you allow the music industry control over its copyrights on your platform, that means it can monetize content, right?
Yep.
If you then allow a creator to be able to monetize content as well, you've created conflict, because it's a binary system. It's one or the other, right? So on YouTube, either the creator earns or the music industry earns. Right now, the music industry is not earning other than a check it's getting for presumed use, so that Facebook isn't sued, right, until it gets its act together. And creators aren't really earning money. Media companies can earn money on Facebook, but individual creators at scale aren't. So even when we think this is solved and they release this, that's the next problem. You'll have the YouTube issue. Yeah. And then hopefully that lift will come in.
That's awesome.
Aww, that's so cool.
Yeah.
What is next for Licked? What have you got planned for next? I know that you said you're going to get more sort of deals and more contracts and stuff, and put more songs on there and make more sort of contacts with the music industry. But is there anything else that you've got planned for Licked that we should be excited about?
That you can reveal, of course.
Yeah. No, I mean, in terms of my plans, I've had the same plans. Well, we've added to them, but again,
you want to take over the world.
I think it's still on that piece of paper, right? I want all the world's music. Genuinely, I don't understand. Why shouldn't they be able to use anything? Why have I only got 80,000 or 150,000? Right? Just give me a blanket. Why are you throttling this? Right? So there's that. I think that we want to be multi-platform.
Nice.
So Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, like any TikTok. I've got my eye on TikTok. I want to know what's going on there. They're going to enable creative monetization soon. That's going to be a problem if you're earning money and using music. Yeah, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that. Podcasts, man. Like this, there is no way for you to legally use music in your podcast. Correct?
I mean, I think.
Commercial music,
no.
Commercial music, no. Just production and stuff.
Craziness. Craziness.
It is. Segments. You're right. It is.
Yeah. There's been segments that we do called like Track of the Week. So if we've been like on Spotify or something, and we have a little search, a song, we've liked that week. We talk about it. And we recommend it to our audience.
We want to promote it. And if we're in like a music-based podcast and we want other people to hear the music that we're talking about, we have to we have to put links in it and then just hope that they kind of just click on the links after. But
and for audience experience, that ain't the best, because they're more inclined to actually go and listen to the whole song if we can legally play, say, like 20, 30 seconds of a chorus.
Yeah.
Without the podcast or the YouTube version getting taken down.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be good to do that. Maybe one day.
Well, look, so we're speaking to podcast companies at the moment, right? There is no audio recognition software in podcasts at the moment, right? There's nowhere to get a license to use the music. Podcasts are growing at a rate quicker than YouTube.
Absolutely. One of my favourite podcasts, Jack Mate Happy Hour, they've just been bought by Spotify. Just like Joe Rogan, just like Jack Mate,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well done him.
Happy Hour's just been bought by, they're now Spotify exclusive. So come end of November, all the videos, like the full versions, will be on Spotify because they've now included video podcasts on there for Joe Rogan and a couple of others, which is incredible. It would be nice for Spotify, who are obviously, I think they're branching more into podcasts now with the inclusion of videos. It would be good for them to, you know, have like some sort of service or partner with someone like Licked so that creators can use the music they want, particularly for music-based podcasts.
From your mouth to God's ears. So I think we want to build a podcast solution. The CPM rates are so heavily different on podcasting than they are to YouTube, and so it takes an entirely new solution, right? Because can't price it the same, can't license it the same, so on and so forth. But that's definitely coming down the line. Elsewhere, I would like Licked to be mecca for music licensing, right? I don't see why you would have to go to Epidemic and to Licked. Why can't I have it all on one platform?
Definitely.
So like, again, I don't have to own or produce the production music. I can find a partner and try and license it in. So we're thinking about that, right? Maybe a production music on subscription and a la carte for commercial on top. There's lots of things we're thinking about. And then we are being approached by gaming companies who rely on UGC for promotion of in-game play. And as more and more of them start putting on concerts or introducing music elements into the game, their favorite players and ambassadors are being demonetized.
That's something I noticed, like stuff like Fortnite. They had obviously the interactive Travis Scott gig, which their viewing numbers through the roof with that, didn't they?
So we actually worked with Fortnite on the Dominic fight concert last week.
That's amazing.
So more and more things like that are happening. So who knows? That's where we want to go. First of all, I think can I say before what's next, right? Because when we talk about what's next, it all sounds grand. These are all just ideas in my head that I've discussed.
Nice.
The thing that has to happen first is we have to make this work.
Yeah.
What's now, right? And I mean, this is sort of my call to arms for all creators. I built this, and I've had angry conversations and arguments in dark meeting rooms with labels and publishers, real testy meetings, fighting on behalf of creators, sort of alone in the dark for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And I promised them, listen, if we build this, they will come.
Oh, definitely.
Right? Why wouldn't they want access to all the world's music? And if we don't get creators behind this and it dies, the music industry will never come back. They'll never go, oh, you know what, maybe they do need a solution. They'll say, well, we tried to give them a solution. It didn't work. Now, we could all point fingers, right? And the creators go, well, you didn't give Licked everything, right? And I only want to go to somewhere where they've got everything. I think what I'm saying is this. There was one creator, I'll never forget this story. I met a creator at VidCon, not February of this year, but February of last year.
Yeah.
And his management and I were talking, and he called the creator over. The manager called the creator over and said, you're going to love this. These guys are bringing commercial music for creators. And he was like, you're kidding me. How are you doing that? And I explained everything we've discussed. And he said to me, wow, I can't wait to use it. Have you got ASAP Rocky? And I said, no. And he turned his back on me and walked away.
Oh.
Now, that pissed me off, right? Because the implication there is, well, you go and get it done and let me know when it's done, right? And I get that, right? He didn't build Licked. He didn't decide to do it. I get it. But for us to get to 50 million songs, we have to show that we can work with the creator market, right? Yeah. Every time someone licenses on Licked, I'm sending money to the music industry. Every penny I send them releases more music, right? Think of it that way. For the first time ever, we've been able to analyze the search history, the search data on the platform. And now we're disseminating that out to the labels. Here's how many people search for this artist that we don't have, right? Here's how many people search for this artist that we don't have. And if you add up all the artists we don't have and all the searches they had, we could have sold almost 40,000 more licenses this year alone, right? Mm-hmm. That is the sort of data that's compelling to them. So even searching for artists we don't have actually provides me ammunition to go and get it for you. Yeah. It's almost like you're signing a petition, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm out banging on the doors going, these people want this music. Yeah, that's what I would say. Like, I built this myself. It was my endeavor, but it's our product, guys, right? It's not I'm not a creator.
Music's a community. Like,
yeah, and if YouTubers, I think there's a world 4 years from now where we all look back over a glass of champagne and go, do you remember when it was really hard to use music?
Do you remember all those copyright claims?
Yeah, exactly.
All those
but to get there,
next to videos.
It takes all of our efforts, right? It takes us to promote, to stick with the platform, to understand what we're doing, and be part of the mission and the journey, not just want to meet us at the destination.
Yeah, it's a movement, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it has to be.
One thing I thought, obviously, with COVID, live music is very, very restrictive at the moment. You know, indoor gigs are sort of up in the air. I haven't really seen many do indoor gigs. No. Outdoor gigs, under certain provisions, can go ahead. But say 7-8 months from now, when live music, touch wood, is back to normal, is there any plans to do, say, like a licked music festival? You know, have a few of the artists that are featured on there, unsigned artists.
Can I play it, please? I'm a good singer, I promise.
we'll have a little set.
So let me get this right. You're pitching to open at a festival that doesn't exist yet.
I'm pitching. I've come up with an idea and I'm determined to do it.
Listen,
if you build
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. The reality is it takes you have to front a lot of money to get these artists to agree to perform.
Yeah.
And festivals don't really earn money back. So it would be a lot of effort for me to take a big risk with the company's money on something that we don't really do. But I would love to have an event, right, and have 2 or 3 artists play and only have creators in the audience. Because you're right, that is full circle music creator integration, right?
Yeah.
And all your videos are going to be claims free and so on and so forth. So yeah, no, it makes good sense. We had 50 creators down at the launch party, a launch event in December with John Newman, and he played 10 songs for us. In Studio 3 at Abbey Road. And that sort of thing is really cool, right? Yeah. But those are the marketing initiatives that only Licked can do, right? You can't do that with production music.
True.
And when I say to my team, they'll go, oh, well, all the other companies are doing this, we should be doing that. And I go, if we only do what they do, we'll only be as good as them. They haven't got our artists.
It's true.
No, we don't have our artists. The labels do, right? But come up with something that only we can do because of the access we've got, right? We've got Arctic Monkeys manager as an investor and a member, Mason from Pink Floyd. Now, that doesn't mean I can get you Pink Floyd to perform in your living room. But if I said, listen, we've got something we're thinking about, is that we want to get hold of this person. Do you know how to? Then we can probably get there where others might not be able to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as soon as the world's slightly back to normal, then look out for some cool and interesting integrations with the music industry.
That'd be cool, because I saw it on Instagram and something on YouTube, your live session with John Newman. It looked really, really cool. It's like, it would be nice to do those like live sessions, say something with like Sam Fender, Mabel, and obviously maybe like the less well-known acts as well. They could be like the openers and stuff. It would be really, really cool to do that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, well, we had Olivia Dean open, so they were both Universal acts. Olivia Dean open for John. And what was interesting, we interviewed John on camera as well, and he said, I get my videos demonetized with my own music on it. Yeah. He's like, but he doesn't own the music, right? The label owns the music, and all that process is automated. So if John Newman puts up a video and puts John Newman on it, John Newman gets demonetized for using John Newman.
That's amazing. So, that's so funny.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's mad. I think as well, one reason why I was so sort of drawn to Licked and stuff was I met a creator at VidCon. I think we both met him. We watched him do like a little seminar talk. A guy called Matt Josh, who is a time-lapse photographer, a time-lapse videographer as well. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you'd wandered off. He's incredible. But I was chatting with him about how important it is for creators to have that freedom to use the music they want, because we can, despite COVID, we can go out and film and take photos of whatever we want, to a certain degree. If we want to go climb a mountain and take a time lapse of the sun setting up there, we could. I mean, I can't because I'm unfit, but we could. But with music, it is so restricting, especially if you've got like a vision for a video that you want. You're thinking, oh, this song would be absolutely freaking perfect to use, and then that you're going to get a claim. It really hinders that sort of creative process.
Yeah, it does.
The way Matt was talking about it and being able to use the tracks that he wants, it was actually really inspiring.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, the other thing that happened, I mean, first of all, I agree with you. Matt is a great guy. We've worked with Matt quite a lot.
The videos he produces are incredible.
They really are. They really are. Look, he's been a good ambassador for us, but that aside, he's become a mate, right? Yeah. And if we never ended up working with Matt, I would still be seeing Matt for a drink sometime.
Nice.
So great guy, Matt Jones. You should all go follow him. Before I started Licks, I was still in traditional media licensing, right? Music licensing for traditional media. And I remember someone coming to me to say, "Can you get me a composer?" And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, don't you normally use production music? And this is it's a pilot, right? This is a test show."
Okay.
And she said to me, "Yeah, but the channel 4, have said to me that if I put a single track from this particular production music company in, the whole project is cancelled."
Wow.
Because there was such saturation and overuse of the same 3,000 songs from 4 different production music companies that everyone's videos are sounding the same, everyone's TV shows are sounding the same.
Yeah.
Right? And it's because people are in TV lands because they're cheap. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But in online video land, it's because they haven't got access to anything better. So yeah, that's what we need to provide.
Yeah, definitely. There's one more question from Dawn Searle. She said, why did Paul start his business and what did he do before? So you've already answered why you started it. So what you've sort of roughly touched on what you did before. So what did you do before? So, well, straight out of uni, I went to television.
Okay.
And I did 5 years at one independent production company. So it's freelance work, but I kept getting the next show, the next show, the next show. Yep. So I started making tea. I was a runner, moving boxes, making the tea. Nice. When I left after 5 years, I was executive producer on one series producer on another. I'd written a show that got made for Trouble. And I had hosted 2 shows. I was a TV presenter, and I got a very big agent who told me that I was going to be the next Dermot O'Leary, and I thought I was too.
Nice.
And so I quit all that work to be available for my future stardom, and it never materialised, and I almost lost my arse. I didn't work for 9 months. I went insane, and it was during that time that production music company that I had used. So bear in mind, I got familiar with the entire production music market because I was using them. Yeah. I was a client of all of them, right? One of them, Extreme, were hiring in New York, and I'd always wanted to move to New York. I knew the guy running New York because he used to run London. And so I was chatting to him. He was a mate. And he said, "Look, if you're not doing what you want to be doing in London, would you consider not doing it in New York?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Well, we're hiring. You're brilliant." He's like, you want to live in New York. You know not only our catalogue, but all of our competitors' catalogues. You know how we market versus how they market. And you know how clients want to be treated because you've been one."
Yes.
Like, that's a good argument. And so 2 months later, I moved to New York and I just took the job. And that was Extreme Music. I was a junior sales and marketing executive. Within 2.5 years, the company had been bought by Sony Publishing, and Sony made me head of US, and that's when I moved out to LA.
Wow.
That's when I met Hans, like that.
Yeah.
So within 2.5 years, I was head of the US operation. I just had a knack for it. I was good amazing. At it. And because I've been on all sides, I intrinsically understood everyone's issues and all the complications, right?
Yeah.
So I took to it quite simply, and then it's grown from there. I spent 5 years in the States, split between New York and LA. I came back, I worked on some festivals for a bit, and then someone came along. They tried to hire me in the States, but I didn't go. Then they found me in London and said, well, we want to open in Europe. And it was a company that was doing pre-cleared commercial music licensing for traditional media, but the commercial music was independent and unsigned acts.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, that is innovation, right? It's one step ahead of production music. It's pre-cleared commercial, but you're not going to get the majors. And so all of those, in all those steps, I saw the power of high quality commercial sounding music available at the click of a button, right? And that's where I've thrived. When you've got a compelling offering and you understand the client's problems, then you should have a win there. And that's when I was like, right, it's my turn to do one.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah.
Finding a problem and fixing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
That's exactly.
And I'll tell you, there's an interesting story about the first time when I was a junior researcher in television. I went on a shoot for this show, and then it was a weekly show, so the turnaround's quite tight. And the director fell sick during the week, right? So he wasn't around to direct the edit.
Oh, no.
And so the producer came to me and said, well, look, you were on the shoot. Can you sit with the editor tomorrow and direct the edit? Like, help him find where the gold is. You were there, you heard it, you watched it, right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay. And so the next morning I came in and I went into the edit field. I was so excited. And I had a pile of CDs.
Nice.
And the editor says to me, what's that? And I said, oh, this is the music we're going to put in the show. And he goes, oh, we have a music budget? And I went, music budget? And he goes, we have budget for that. I said, no, you don't understand. They're mine. I bought them over the years, dude. What are you not understanding? Right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, I own the music. And he said to me, Paul, you own the plastic. Someone else owns the music. And you have to have the right in the show. And I was like, wait, all the music I hear on TV, someone's actually contracted. And he was like, yeah.
Oh,
and I was like, so he then pointed to all the walls, which were just shelves full of yellow spine CDs. And he was like, you see that? I said, yeah. He goes, you can use anything you want from there. I said, well, what's that? He was like, it's called production music. And so that was the first time I learned. Like, when I look back on my career, I always remember that moment and giggle. I go, God, that green boy who didn't understand what music licensing was. And then you can go all the way through to various things. I can point a direct line from that moment to lit, right?
Yeah.
Go, well, that seems clumsy. There should be a better way, right? And it kind of all started there, if you want to take it back to its roots.
that's brilliant.
I love that.
Well, we know you're a very busy man. We don't want to keep you too long, but we have one more question for you.
We do indeed.
Go for it.
We ask our guest this question. Each answer's been different. It's been really cool hearing everybody's answers to this question. Do you want to go for it?
Yeah, sure. If you could plan your own festival, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, who would be your headliners for each day? So if you had like your own Reading or Leeds or Glastonbury, what would be like, who would be, they can be dead or alive.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate that I never saw Nirvana.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Love
who would,
Nirvana.
what day would they be on?
I think they're a Friday night. I think they'd kick off the party.
With a bang.
Nice bit of grunge.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to have seen Nirvana live. If you haven't seen MTV Unplugged with Nirvana, go and watch it.
It was incredible. The man who sold the world was honestly such a great performance.
Yeah. I think I would probably also have Jay-Z.
Ooh, that's a new one.
You've not had Jay-Z
Not
before?
had Jay-Z yet.
Yeah,
Yay.
I think I'd have Jay-Z. And then
Sunday. Who's your Sunday?
I think you close out with the Rolling Stones.
Good shout.
Ooh,
Not had the Rolling
yeah.
Stones before.
Ooh,
That's good.
I like that. I like that.
I would have got more contemporary until you said Dead or Alive, and I suddenly went back in my mind. Not that Rolling Stones.
Nearly.
But
Yeah, nearly.
doing a damn good impression of it. But yeah, I think that would be a good lineup for me.
Nice. So a bit of
Amazing.
grunge with Nirvana on Friday, Jay-Z on a Saturday, and then finishing off with the Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones.
I'd go to that festival.
The best concerts I've ever been to were because of the support acts, right? So when I was in LA, I went to see Kanye.
Nice.
I loved Kanye, right? He the guy's indefensible now, but I love.
He's had a bit of a week.
Bless his heart.
Yeah. But the support. This is 2008, right? 12 years ago. So the names I'm about to tell you weren't necessarily as big as they are now.
Yeah.
But the support acts were NERD, Pharrell, Lupe Fiasco, then Rihanna, then Kanye. Wow. So by the time Kanye came out, I was like, I've just been to the best concert I've ever been to, and I haven't seen the guy I came to see.
That sounds mad. Hearing Kanye as a support act, he would throw a tantrum if he was offered a support act.
He was the main.
Oh, he was the main. Oh, okay. I was going to say,
he was the headliner.
But Pharrell, support act. Rihanna, support act.
Rihanna.
Rihanna was the penultimate act. I mean, she'd only had one album at that point, right? So it was there was Umbrella and things like that. But and then the other one, I saw Oasis at Nebworth in 1996.
Nice.
See, we live literally around the corner from Nebworth.
Yeah.
Literally, Nebworth is a stone's throw away, so I could hear the concert from my house, like when Robbie Williams was playing and all that kind of stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So I saw Oasis there, and they were supported by the Bootleg Beatles, which was quite a lot of fun in the sun on a Sunday.
Nice.
Kool Shaker and Prodigy. And Prodigy live.
What a gig.
So by the time you've seen Keith Flint live for an hour and a half, and then you realise you haven't seen the main event yet, you're done. You know?
That's amazing.
So it was great.
Oh,
brilliant.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting us pick your brains and see into the world of Licked. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Like, you know, I remember I remember you guys being around at the VidCon, and I'm always happy to lend an ear and have a chat with people doing interesting things. And you guys are self-starting, got your own podcast. Like, good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to say goodbye, and then we'll do a little bit of a news thing afterwards. Thank you so much for coming on. We will be in touch with you. And so thank you so much to Paul coming onto the podcast and saying hello to us and letting us pick his wonderful, wonderful creative entrepreneurial brains.
He was so lovely.
He really was.
Love what Licked are doing.
Yes, love that.
Super cool.
So we have got some music news.
Cue the music. So, our first story is
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Her
stalker
has been sent to prison for 30 months.
Good.
He pleaded guilty in front of...
I don't think is long enough.
Yeah. He pleaded guilty in front of a federal judge. And he was also sentenced in Austin, Texas.
Oh, okay.
So basically, he was sending threatening letters, emails to Taylor Swift's former record label.
That's messed up.
Yeah,
That's scary.
It is proper scary.
What is it with Taylor Swift and people being obsessed with it? Like her fans sent that Pitchfork reviewer death threats and threatened to burn
but when
her
you're as
down her
beautiful and as
Very
talented
true.
as Taylor Swift, you should expect it.
True. Although we watched her American Country Music Awards performance of Betty.
We did. It was
so
stunning.
good.
It was beautiful. And can I just say how happy she looks going back to her country roots?
Love that. It
how
needed
amazing.
to happen.
It was wholesome. It
really
was so
was.
wholesome.
It gave me life. Eminem also had a stalker who
did.
apparently intended to kill him at his own house. Found some guy just wandering around his house with like a weapon.
That's pretty scary.
That was pretty scary.
It'd be interesting to know what weapon it was.
Yeah.
If it was like a spatula. Like, I'm gonna kill you with a spatula.
a spork.
A spork.
A spork.
Yeah, I mean, still, that could be quite dangerous.
Like the sharp bits.
Yeah, yeah. It depends what kind of spork it is, I suppose.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, there's been many stalkers. However, talking about weird people, something happened this week to me. didn't it?
Cool. A good segue because I think I know what you're chatting.
I am.
I think I know.
I got a message on Instagram from somebody, a lovely gentleman. I've forgotten his name now.
He was so lovely.
He was that lovely. And he said, hi, it's me. And I was like, I have no idea who you are. I'm really sorry. Like, am I supposed to know who this person is? Because in our jobs, we meet loads of people.
We meet characters.
We do. We meet loads of people. And because we're on sort of social media and all that kind of stuff, and people talk to us on there, people think that we automatically know who they are.
You're not our friend.
Oh, no, don't say that.
No, in the realist sort of way, just because we met you doesn't mean... And just because you've seen us live doesn't mean you know us on a deep level.
Yeah, no, on a deep level. I get that. But this guy seemed to know me, and I was just like, I have no idea this. And he was like, hang on a minute, is it not you that I've been talking to? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Basically, I'm not going to disclose his name. Because that might be a bit unfair to him. We'll have to do the catfish thing,
which I always think is really, really funny, because when they say the person's first name and then they bleep out the second name, I always think it's like a swear word.
Yeah.
Like, La Squeesha bleep. Like,
La Squeesha?
I don't know, I'm thinking of a random name.
I don't think that's the name, Connor.
All right, Dave.
All right, Dave.
And then they bleep it. Always make it sound like this.
We're going to call this guy Dave.
Dave.
So Dave messaged me. Anyway... He was sort of like, hang on, is it not you that I've been talking to? I was like, I'm really sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, can you tell me where you've been talking to me, or you think that you've been talking? Okay, so this is where it gets weird, right?
Spook.
He said that someone has been using my pictures and my name. Like, come on. If you're going to use someone's pictures, don't use their name.
Mad.
Like, it's weird. And at the same time, he could just find me and message me, and now he's found out that that person's fake. I shouldn't really be giving catfishes, like, an idea of how to get away with it.
But Neve,
still,
if you're watching.
Yeah, Neve and Max, get in touch, please. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, this person, I don't know who they are. They've been using my pictures. They've been using my name. And they've been talking to people on a fetish and a kinky website.
Nice.
Now, I'm pretty normal, so it's definitely not me. I'm really sorry. But it's happened quite a few times now, and I put it on Facebook, and some of my friends were like, yeah, I'd pretend to be you.
G's response.
G's response. We love G. But G
G
was like, does that mean that we're not going for a romantic date at Nando's? I'm like, hell yeah, G, I'll take you to Nando's. But yeah, like... it was just really weird, so I just thought I'd share that with you. If you're watching and if you have used my pictures, thank you, but please stop.
Speaking of someone who I would love to have take me to a romantic date at Nando's, is Keith Urban.
Oh, and do you know what? Who else I would love to take me on a romantic date to Nando's is...
Kelly Clarkson?
No, definitely not. I love Kelly, but
Kelly.
Pink.
No one is better than Pink.
No one is better than Pink. Do you know what's really lovely about both of those artists?
I don't know. Fill me in.
They've done a duet together.
Nice.
And it is wholesome. It's beautiful. And it's called One Too Many. You
boozy
can have
song.
a look. Yeah, it's a boozy song. It's really cool.
I like Keith Urban.
So go check that out, guys. It's really cool. We can't actually show you the song because of copyright reasons, which...
So licked.
Hell yeah. So yeah, we've got that news as well.
We also can't show you what's behind us, so you may or may not have noticed, if you're watching on YouTube, we're in front of a green screen.
We are. I mean, is it a green screen?
Or is it a green screen?
Or is it?
Or is it a pizza? Or is it the beach?
Or is it the moon?
Out of this world. So we are currently in Young Broke Musicians headquarters.
We are HQ.
YBM HQ. That sounds really corporate.
YBM HQ.
We should put a sign with that.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That would be really cool. Maybe we'll put that like up there or something. YBM HQ.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really decided what the backdrop has been for the last hour or so.
No, we haven't.
So
go on.
Go for it.
I was going to say the next bits of news. Cardi B is set for a divorce.
So is Kanye.
So is Kanye West. We won't talk about Kanye West purely because he needs help.
He does need help. We've obviously discussed him before in a slightly serious and comedic sort of way, but now I think we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
Kanye, there's that phrase, it's Kanye being Kanye. And I think it's crossed the point where Kanye's just being Kanye and it's Kanye West actually needing help.
Yeah, like Kanye West, like my like whenever anyone says about Kanye West, I think about the award ceremony where he jumped up on
I'm gonna
stage.
let you finish, but
where he jumped up on stage and basically just sort of
gatecrashed
interrupted
moment.
Taylor's moment. It was her first like proper big moment.
It was her first Grammy.
And for me, once you've done that, I'm sorry, I don't have any kind of sympathy or empathy for you at all.
And then went behind her back and said the line in his song "Famous." I still feel like me and Taylor might still have, because I made that famous.
Yeah, and
Not
also
cool.
he even said that he made Paul McCartney famous. Now, all
Kanye,
of these
please.
things, Kanye has said, and if I'm honest, I'm allowed an opinion on them, and
absolutely.
I think that he is. I understand that he might be needing help right now, but even when he didn't really need help, and back then,
Still a bit delusional.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan. I just think that he's very rude, if I'm honest.
Absolutely, and then the Grammy thing as well.
Yeah, and he's urinated on his Grammy.
Not
like
cool.
So many people in the world would love to even be considered for a Grammy.
A nomination is just
I know.
such an achievement. And I mean, a nomination and an award isn't, the obvious sign of success. I don't feel like I need that, but
no, I need that.
Give me a Grammy. No, it would be amazing to have one, and people work hard for that. Imagine
it's not just him. It's not just him that's worked hard on that. It's all of his team around him that he's literally urinated onto.
Yeah.
It's sickening. Mad. It's so annoying.
It really
it's
belittles
upsetting.
the award, because there's so many Grammy-winning albums that are just incredible, and then that's what he does to it.
Yeah, and it's just like I maybe there might be a reason behind it. I don't know. I'll have to educate myself a little bit more on that.
Yeah.
However, I just think that whole concept, as a musician and as someone who's passionate about their work, I just think that it's extremely disrespectful. Not just to the music companies,
to the Grammys
but to the
itself,
other artists.
to the people who've worked with him as well.
Yeah, and the other artists that were nominated for that award.
Yeah,
and
imagine
didn't
being
get
a runner-up for that category that he won that for.
Fuming.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on, because we're not going to be giving our time to Kanye.
True.
But I hope that he gets the help that he needs.
Absolutely.
Madonna is basically set to direct a film of her own life story.
Is she going to star in it?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's Madonna, played by Madonna, directed by Madonna.
Yeah, it's just Madonna.
Featuring the music of Madonna.
I think that's pretty cool. She's co-written the script with Oscar winner. I've forgotten his name.
Cody Co. I don't know.
Cody. I've forgotten his name. I'm so sorry. This is a great music news.
I love music biopics, things like that. So my favourite music sort of documentary sort of film biopic, Straight Outta Compton, the story of NWA.
Okay.
Incredible.
Okay.
If you could have Rocket Man.
I loved Rocket
Man. Great
biopic. I loved Rocket Man.
Taron Egerton, dreamy voice, incredible.
Just a dreamy person.
Just a dreamy person. Taron Egerton, please come on the podcast.
No, please don't. I'd be in trouble.
Roxy would be melting. To be fair, so would I.
Yeah.
His version of Tiny Dancer. Controversial. I prefer it to Elton's.
I'm not gonna lie, so do I. Oh my god.
I love Tiny Dancer. Favourite song.
Let's butt him in.
Big up Geordie Fox for his messages
we love Geordie Fox on the channel.
Elton.
We love Geordie Fox.
Who is a huge fan of Madonna.
Yes. Not. Yeah, but that is for now the music news.
Music news. I forgot to show you.
Casey.
No. Music news. Right? I forgot to show you a thing.
The microphone's just there.
I know. You're gonna love this.
Okay.
So it is. We've not scripted this at all, but huge inspiration for us. You've not seen this yet.
No.
Mr. Peter McKinnon.
We love Peter McKinnon.
I'm going to show Roxy this photo. She's not seen this before, I don't think. Love Peter McKinnon. Incredible photographer. Incredible videographer.
I feel like a butt's coming.
No,
that's good.
But.
That's good.
Incredible musician.
What? No, he's not doing drums. Shut up.
He's filming some sort of thing behind the drum kit.
Oh my God.
He put working hard today, brushing up on old skills, hoping they still hold up. Yikes.
Oh, I love
Hashtag
him.
making vids.
I want him to play drums for me.
We figured out on Twitter that he played drums. He was doing a sort of an old drum cover of him playing Maps by Maroon 5.
I just love him.
It was incredible.
I just love Peter McKinnon.
Peter
So much
McKinnon.
that I named my hamster after him.
Millie McKinnon.
Millie McKinnon.
Millie Moo McKinnon.
Millie Moose.
Millie Moose McKinnon.
Millie Moose.
Moose
McKinnon.
because Mooses live in Canada. Peter McKinnon lives in Canada.
Never vacay in Banff.
If you watch, you know.
That's a Brooklyn Nine-Nine quote, sorry.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Definitely vacay in Banff. It's the
Definitely.
most stunning place in the world.
I mean, we've not been, but we want to.
Yeah, we really do.
Definitely
We
want
really
to.
do.
Definitely. This has been a really long pod. This has been like an hour and a half, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, it is the finale.
It is. So we're going to take a couple of weeks off because at the time of recording this video, we've got like 4 or 5 podcasts that are yet to come out.
Yeah, we do.
So if you are listening to this podcast, you would have already caught our interviews with the incredible Lee Smith,
With the beautifully talented Carrie Ellis.
with Georgia Nevada.
With Sophie Rose Middleton. Oh, she was so gorgeous. It's unreal.
Amazing. And a fellow cannon shooter.
Fellow
Fellow.
cannon shooter.
We can talk. we know words. But we're going to take a little few weeks off, reset the batteries.
Yes, we are.
Literally, because a battery died
Yeah, it really
during
did.
the recording. So,
This is the season finale.
season finale of Series 1. We'll be back with Series 2.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be showing you The Office. Because currently, we've said we've got an office now.
Yeah, we have.
We've
Yep.
said we've got an
Yep.
office. The front part of it, what we're looking at, is nearly there.
Yes.
I mean, my desk is set up. We've got lots we want to do to this place, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
So
It's going to look
having this few
amazing.
weeks off is a good
So-
chance to decorate,
Indeed.
redecorate, because there's some things that need to go.
Yeah, but massive shout out to London
Loved
Road,
London
and
Road,
Richard. Thank you
Maskey,
so
Max.
much.
And incredible generosity. So
Yeah, thank you so much. We literally couldn't have done. We couldn't have
couldn't done
made
the
it.
podcast without these
No,
guys.
we really couldn't. We really couldn't. We owe them
'Cause
absolutely everything.
It's
It's
funny
amazing.
looking back at episode 1, which didn't even have video.
No, it didn't.
You were sat on a chair. I was sat on the sofa. We were
Yeah.
pushing my dog off of our laps
Yep.
gently.
And I was like, this needs to change.
This changed.
All I could hear was from Gus.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
we were
this can't
recording
continue.
on Little Road Wireless Goes,
Yep.
which we may still do in the future.
Yes.
Never know.
Yep.
So it's really cool to see how many cool people we've had on the podcast, how it's grown.
Yeah.
It's pretty
We'll
cool.
we'll do like a little montage clip
Little
of everybody as well. That would be really cool.
That would be sick.
We'll have a little montage clip of everybody saying our magic word.
Yeah, so keep an eye on our Facebook page or YouTube channel for that. That would be really sick.
That would be really awesome. So thank you guys so much for listening. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. Well, if I'm completely honest, we probably would, because we enjoy doing this.
Oh, hell yes.
And if nobody listened, if I'm completely honest, I wouldn't really care,
It's good
because
for
I
mental
really
health.
enjoy
It's a
doing
good way
it.
to vent and just chat, because us musicians, we do a lot of singing. We don't tend to do too much talking.
No, we don't.
So it's a good chance to sort of let our mouths run.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
For watching.
Thank you for the
Um,
YouTube porn websites for featuring our videos and getting them to like 1,000 plus views.
Not gonna
Interesting
lie, it's
stuff.
a little bit weird.
It was weird.
Thank you to, we'll call him Mark or whatever, to letting me know about people stealing my pictures and using me as a catfish.
Yeah. Thank you to all of our incredible guests we've
Thank
had.
you.
We've had some incredible guests. Ones that we put on the list. We had the list.
We had
the list.
the list.
And we ticked a few of them off, which is really, really cool.
We have indeed.
And we'll be back in a few weeks for Series 2.
We will indeed. So thank you guys. And I guess there is literally only one thing left to say, and that is
See ya!
Ciao, adios, I'm done. Ciao, adios, I'm done. Ciao, adios, I'm done. After 3, after 4 times, why did I bother?